Welcome back to LA Fishguys, part 5 of the Rose Anemone tank. We're here with Cande of Tropical Illusions. He also has an aquarium maintenance business here in LA, and he's servicing a 500-gallon tank. As you can see, the tank is filled with rose anemones and other assorted corals. We're going to do two things. One, a water change with salt water that we made out of the faucet, and two, to vacuum that tank, we have to start a siphon that you can see the sucking end was stuck in the toilet. Let's see how he's going to get that siphon started.
All right, so you've got your salt level stabilized.
As you can see, it's at 27.
1027.
And like I said, you know, this is at a high salinity. To bring up the salinity, so I don't want to lower it down. There's no problems with any of the fish. Usually, if there's a problem out at 22.5, I will lower the salinity level slowly in order to control parasites as far as egg and other things that might be in the water.
Okay.
But at this point, I made it 27 to bring it up a little bit. You know what I mean? The corals, nothing affects the corals nor the fish. You know, we're keeping it safe. And here we go. It's wash out the siphoning tube, keep everything clean.
Vacuum tube, okay.
Vacuum tube. We have different sizes, different size tanks.
You've got quite the selection there, and that's a pretty special little container.
Like I said, you want to make sure that you have what you need for the job.
Right.
You know, this tall
small,
tank,
medium, and big
tall
siphon vacuum.
Requires long tube.
So that vacuum tube gets stuck at the end of the siphon that's going inside the tank.
I can tell you, I'm not going to be the one to suck on the end of that hose. No way. Especially after it's been stuck into the toilet. Ugh.
So as we approach that golden moment where Cande shares with us how he's going to start that siphon, let's first talk about how he's going to get the new water into the tank.
We got that. Now the most important thing is getting this water going inside of the aquarium. Start this up. Make sure the power is disconnected on the pump, or now you will have water everywhere.
Okay, so the same pump you're using to mix up the water, you're going to put a fitting back on the end of it.
Yes, because if I left the fitting on there, it will not mix the water as well as with the fitting off of it.
And that fitting, I assume, attaches to the hose that's going to run the water to the tank.
That is correct. We'll hook that up in there. Drop them right in there slowly so we won't get any splashes.
And that end is already running over here and goes into the filter. Okay.
Power that up.
Plugged in and pumping water.
And there's water going in.
Okay.
Now, because I know more or less where my water level should be down at the reservoir, so when I'm done with the aquarium, it has the right water level. And this is the water level that I like to maintain it in between the first UV.
Okay.
That lets me know. This wet dry system is built in since with the safety overflow. If the tank ever shuts off and there's water that's going to overflow from here, it has an 1.5-inch pipe that's in the back of the reservoir, which will drain out to the bottom underneath the house. It will not flood the house at all.
So the wet dry filter, if it were to get too high, has an overflow mechanism on it that drains it, you say, below the house.
Below the house.
Okay.
And now we have water going in. Let's need a little bit more.
The little control valve there. Okay.
Now,
here's how he's going to start the siphon. Are you ready? This is so slick. This is so slick. You can do this, you know you're a good service guy.
One hand here. Close it. Close it.
Okay.
Submerge.
Submerge. Get the air out of the vacuum end of it.
Submerge.
Okay. Lift it up above the water level. Let go.
Let the water go down.
Okay. And
stop.
Okay.
Submerge. And let go.
Let go, and your siphon is already started. Son of a gun. There you go.
We'll save all the water in your mouth.
I was not looking forward to having to suck on the end of that toilet stained hose. So I'm going to ask you a question here as you're going around, and I like to envision the sand bed as a big checkerboard, which in my mind tells me, okay, I'm going to push the vacuum into each little square. Your approach here for vacuuming the gravel out of the sand, or the debris out of the sand, is?
To control the nitrates as far as organics building up into the tank.
No, what I meant was, do you just kind of stir the sand? Is there any particular place that you aim or push it into? Are you trying to do 100% of the sand or skip around?
I do 100% of the sand. And all what I could see or the tube could reach into will be vacuum.
Okay.
And as you can see, when you've gone through it and you vacuum it well, the water will start coming a lot clearer compared to where there's sections where there's a lot of waste and food left over.
And so you're servicing this tank on a weekly basis. You're doing about 50-gallon water change on a weekly basis. You're vacuuming the sand on a weekly basis.
Yes. And at the same time, besides doing a water change, I do add trace elements. Because the corals do need elements in order for them to grow: calcium, strontium, magnesium. All these things are required in order for these corals to keep growing. Without them, they will not grow. Also, all these things could be added, but if there's something wrong with the phosphates, nitrates, the algae, and the corals will not grow. Certain corals are more delicate than others, and just like anytime you do, we did set the water going in, so you always want to make sure that you're always steady with the water level that you have down there.
So you want to check it frequently to...
You want to check it, but once you have it set, it's there. It hasn't went down below or up above, and that's what we want. Now, we'll move to the other side.
And so as Cande goes through and vacuums the sand in this beautiful Rose Garden Anemone tank, he's also pumping his newly made saltwater back into the tank at all. So he's not shutting the system down.
So be sure to come on back for part 6 of the Rose Garden Anemone tank as Cande finishes up vacuuming the gravel and the water change in this tank.